Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Castlekeeper Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video I am going to be talking a little bit about Gary Gygax's legendary adventures. Legendary spelt with a J. All right. So if you're familiar at all with the chronology of Gary Gygax's game development post TSR years. So once Gary was forcibly removed from uh, from TSR by Lorraine Williams and others at TSR, um, Gary went on to attempting to produce several other games thereafter. One of which was Legendary Adventure, but he actually started off with a new company, which was called New Infinities, and the first game that he had launched, and I'm going to switch views so I can show these off to you. The first game that he attempted to do, and this was along with Frank Mentzer and Kim Mohan, was Cyborg Commando. And I actually have a box set of this, so I am going to spend some time going over this game system as well um, in the not so distant future. So I'm going to start covering a lot of uh, games that Gary worked on post TSR, post Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Edition. So so he and some others from TSR had gone into and started working on Cyborg Commando. And then, for whatever reason, because they were always plagued with, Gary was really plagued with lawsuit after lawsuit, particularly coming from Lorraine Williams, where, she at the head of TSR really did try to prevent Gary from being able to produce anything that she feared would be a challenge to Dungeons and Dragons. So she had pursued him against even using the term dungeon master in his books on game mastery and on how to be a master role player as a player in gaming as well. So he struggled quite a bit with TSR's frequent lawsuits meant to prevent him from producing anything. So he had bounced around with a few game systems, and he went to different companies and such as well. So Cyborg Commando was in 1987, and then he started working on Dangerous Journeys, and Dangerous Journeys was published by Game Designer Workshop, which was a fairly large um, games publisher back in the day, and one with quite a bit of reputation and such. And um, once again, there were challenges coming from TSR, coming from Lorraine Williams, and so even though Dangerous Journeys did produce quite a uh, number of books and such, and this is using the Mythos fantasy role playing game by Gary Gygax with Dave Newton. Um, it was very much a game designer workshops type of a game system and such. So, and I will spend some time actually delving into this a little bit later as well. So I am going to go into this and start covering the game system and how it actually works so that you can kind of see Gary Gygax's continuation of his game design following TSR and following AD&D First Edition. So that brings me now to Legendary Adventure. So Legendary Adventure was once again put out by TriG Enterprises, and 1999, so considerably almost about 10 years later. And this came through TriG, and then Trollord Games actually started to produce produce some of the work, the work for them, started to publish for them. And this is what really brings me to this current video and the next couple of videos that I'm going to be doing as I go through the rules of Legendary Adventure. So that connection to Trollord Games is something that is very much in the now as we speak, right? And I'm going to shift views and go over a current Kickstarter that they are currently running. And so this is from Trollord Games. And it's Gary Gygax's The Hermit. All right, and so this is part of the Worlds of Gary Gygax series. And The Hermit was an adventure that was originally written for Legendary Adventure. All right, and they hit the stretch goal quite a number of days ago. They hit the $60,000 stretch goal, in which they are going to provide a print copy of the book or the booklet, the adventure that is originally written for Legendary Adventures. Let me get to it right here. So at the 60,000, I'm sorry, at the 50,000 from the vault, we will be a print copy of the original Hermit as written for Legendary Adventures. The black and white copy will be as Gary originally saw it when it was released in 2002. The PDF and print copies for the 125 and over level, which is what I backed it at. So I am going to get the PDF and print copy of this. And this Kickstarter still has one more stretch goal to hit at 70,000 for some VTT maps for the Hermit to be used on your favorite VTT that you utilize. But they're doing very, very well. Again, 63,000. There were still 14 days to go, so I have very little doubt that this is going to not going to reach its final stretch goal, and probably go a little bit beyond that. So really looking forward to this. And this is what really brought me to talking about Legendary Adventures at this time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch views here, and I'm going to go and start looking at the just the initial section of the rules. Now, there is there's a rules light version of this that was printed by Trollord Games, which I did find a previous copy. Very, very hard to find it on online as far as print on demand or anything. Now, I did get the three core books of Legendary Adventure on eBay quite a while ago. I might have even done a box opening or a mail call when I first got these books, but I didn't actually go into the game system itself, which I'm going to do partially by using the book and then comparing it to the it's almost like the quick start guide or the rules light guide that came from Trollord Games. So without further ado, I'm just going to I'm going to really break this down, and I want you to see the mindset that Gary Gygax was bringing to this game system, and what he was looking to accomplish with it. Excuse me. So here we go, and I am going to switch views from here to here. And as you can see, this was what Trollord Games put out back in the early 2000s. It's only 72 pages. It's called Legendary Adventure Fantasy Role Playing Game Essentials. So it's really the rules light version of the game system. And I am going to go through this. Um, you can see that it was written by Gary Gygax, cover art by Peter Bradley, and let's see, there's a list of editors. So the editors included Chris Clark, Cross, Mark Sandy, Davis Chenault. Davis Chenault is from Trollord Games, and Tammy Key. Number of playtesters and such. And so this was copyrighted in 2004 by Trollord Games. And here we go to the introduction. All right, so welcome to the essential legendary adventure fantasy role-playing game. This game allows participants to engage in all manner of fantasy play, limited only by the imaginations of the players themselves. Role-playing is simply an exercise in imagination coupled with the use of the rational mind. Imagination and reason are used in conjunction to assess information, solve make believe problems, optimize potential gains, and minimize potential losses in play. The game itself is merely a platform upon which the Legend Master builds a suitable adventure or campaign, and the players involve themselves in an adventure through the use of game characters. This hierarchy is elemental in nature to role-playing games. The book is a light version of the complete rules and is intended to introduce the basic structures of the system. A discussion of the three basic game elements necessary for understanding role-playing games is also provided. Players need to understand how each part works in the support of the others to engage in play fully. Long-term satisfaction with play is also bolstered by understanding how the parts work, so an explanation of the process is provided. All right, I will go into the next section here. So again, this is very, very brief here. And we go through the actual preface, and I just pretty much read the same thing almost word for word. Let's see where it's going to deviate. So this is the original non-light version of the preface. Let's go. Rules that provide easy access to even novice players can make play easier for the Legend Master also, particularly if the rules are constructed so as to be flexible in application. This then is the desirable second goal, a double benefit. Do not be misled into thinking that because there is a disagreeable rule or no rule at all, the game is not serving well. In a former case, change the rule. In the latter case, make up a rule that suits the campaign. Rules should provide the Legend Master with the power to create a milieu device and develop environments that will engage compelling play, activity, and direct and engage in the gameplay so that other participants will marvel at the ingenuity and artistry of the Legend Master. These rules are what I hope will be the engine, if you will, for all of that. It is speedy, powerful, and simple enough to fix if its performance isn't up to your personal standards. The controls and the instruments are few enough to not demand constant attention so that you can operate the game engine to go to those imaginary places envisioned. The aim here is to keep the engine powerful while having as few moving parts as possible. That is, the rules are as logical, reasonable, and factual as possible given the dual basis of game and fantasy. To mix metaphors, there is also within the game a palette with a rainbow of pigments, the abilities, creatures, preternatural and supernatural items available to paint all manner of vivid pictures. Virtually any sort of avatar, character, creation, a creature, or being can be created in broad or fine strokes. The details are left to the participants, but the basic materials are provided. In addition, these are light rules, which in simple English denotes that this particular version of Legendary Adventure game does not contain all of the abilities, activations, and orders that are available in the full version of the rules. It is a complete set of rules, however, and is designed to speed access to the world by the novice while simultaneously providing a low-cost alternative to immersing one's self fully in the larger system. Should you find this light system an adequate engine for exploring the realms of your fantasy, we suggest you expand your universe by acquiring the full versions of these rules as published in the Legendary Rules for All Players, Legend Masters Lore, and the Beasts of Legend books. The Legendary Earth, world setting, the world map, and extensive canvases upon which the Legend Master can, if desired, paint his broad campaign picture is also available for those wishing campaign material. Following the base for more detailed creativity are world source books, detailed regions and states, as well as in adventure scenarios that are set in a and utilize the structure of the world setting. These and the dungeon type adventures too will augment the game by adding new ideas, creatures, magical things, and so forth. In summation, remember that this is a vital and growing game that invites participation. If it ain't fun, then holler at us to fix it. If it remains broken for you, then don't play it. But rest assured that all concerned with the game system will try our utmost to see that you have a game that is fun and exciting and that facilitates play within the scope of what the game seeks. A return to role-playing gaming that is balanced mix of action and acting, banter and battle, confrontation and conversation. Gary Gygax and Chris Clark. So I really want to focus on this last sentence here. A return to role-playing gaming that is a balanced mix of action and acting, banter and battle, confrontation and conversation. So I really want you to think about what Gary Gygax was saying about the table culture that he's hoping to make the return to here. It's meant to be fun. You're supposed to have fun at your table, and yet you're supposed to be challenged by what is going on in the game session. You know what your adventurers are trying to accomplish, and they can still have room for deeper conversations, for puzzle solving, problem solving in a fantasy setting, for combat, obviously, and again for that challenge, for banter along the way, whether it's banter amongst the players at the table or in a more role playing sense, it's banter and the goings on between the actual characters as they're going through these things. And I really think that that is something that that is not emphasized enough, is that you can have banter at your table amongst the players, but I think in many times the players forget that in stressful situations, their player characters might very well resort to banter as well, in order for them to overcome those emotional challenges and such. And there's nothing wrong with that. It really is a mindset that, if you're a military veteran, you're going to understand this too, that stressful situations oftentimes, cause you to resort to banter, right? And you're going to be horsing around, you're going to be joking around, a very dark sense of humor and everything. And your player characters should very much have that kind of a level of banter amongst themselves as well, because they are certainly involved in many cases in life and death situations. And so I think Gary's really talking about really capturing that sense of the heroic fantasy that he clearly, by 1999, had been seeing that it had been getting lost. And so it's really cool to see his words and to interpret. And again, it's my interpretation of what he's going for here. Um, that's what I'm seeing as the tone of Legendary Adventure, is for you as the legend master to create at your table that sense of all of those combined, words, that tone that you're looking to create at the table for your players to have as much fun as possible. Meanwhile, facing challenges and exchanging that banter amongst themselves, whether it's the players or the characters as well. So I'm really excited about going into the actual game mechanic details of Legendary Adventure, and even more excited to see the Hermit finish up its Kickstarter, and then send us, in our hands, both the version that is designed for Castles and Crusades, and its original version that is designed for Legendary Adventure. So really excited to see that come forth. Um, as I stated in my previous videos, to back this Kickstarter, because the more that these Kickstarters are generating money, the more that the Gary Gygax estate is going to start to release more and more that they've been sitting on for all of these years. They're going to open up I hope they're going to open up the floodgates and allow Troll Lord Games to continue putting out these really interesting creations of Gary Gygax. So it's going to open up the doors for a whole new generation to see Gary Gygax's work in action. I think going forward. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to continuing the series of this series of videos going through Legendary Adventure, and I will spend a little time with the follow-up books of the Legend Masters lore, and then the monster manual, essentially, which is called Beasts of Legend. So I will spend some time with that. I am going to, as I said, revisit Cyborg Commando. and go through that in greater detail and dangerous journeys thereafter. So be on the lookout for more content coming out on my channel, specifically looking at the worlds of Gary Gygax. I think it's super, super important for us to keep Gary Gygax's legacy going forward, and taking a look at all the things that he had done beyond Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Edition. So thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I know this is one day, one day beyond Thanksgiving. I hope that you enjoyed your Thanksgiving with your family and or friends, and look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon, perhaps at a convention, come January or so. That's my first convention I'm planning on going to in January. And if you haven't considered subscribing, please consider subscribing to the channel, where I'm just about at 29.50. I think it was 29.49 just a few minutes ago. So hopefully this will inspire you to and encourage you to subscribe to the channel and look at some of the videos that will be coming out very shortly. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the alert button so you'll be informed when new content is coming out. And you all have a great weekend. Thanks for stopping in.